everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's makeup look is, I feel like, a perfect transition from summer to fall. So this is kind of like a late summer, early fall makeup look. I'm focusing on nudie beige colors and I feel like they match every color that you wear and it just looks soft, calm, and I still try to make the makeup look as clear as possible, so avoiding a mask type of effect. So without further ado, let's jump into this. During this time of year, my skin starts to change a lot, which is why I'm having a bunch of breakouts, and I also feel like once I come home from vacation, I usually have skin troubles. So right now I'm dealing with one pretty red pimple, and you can't tell on camera, but I have so many bumps on my chin. Like when I go over my face as I'm doing my skincare, it drives me insane. It feels like sandpaper. So for that reason, I prefer to do a pretty natural base and not cake makeup on. I know it's going to make it worse, so I'm only going to be cover what I need to cover and try to just, again, not making it too masky. I haven't applied any concealer to my pimple because I want to use a detailed brush, and I'm going to let the concealer set a little bit, and whilst it does that, I'm going to bronze my face. So I'm using the Catrice Melted Sun Cream Bronzer in the shade Pretty Tanned. Add a little bit of color to my forehead, temples, along the sides of my cheeks. A little bit of dimension since I do have a naturally pretty fair face, which there's nothing wrong with it, but I like what a little bit of bronzer, especially on the forehead, can do to make you look a little bit more lively, I guess. This has been the second or even third summer in a row that I have used the Catrice Cream Bronzer. It doesn't slip and slide crazily around on my face. I was in Portugal on vacation and it was hot, and I feel like even when sweating, this bronzer, it stays where it is, and I just really like how it works on my skin, and I like the fact that it is so inexpensive. And during the fall and winter months, I also don't have to worry about it not working. It just works. Now to blend out my concealer, I'm going to take a concealer brush. This one is from Essence. I wish it was a little bit softer, but I guess it does the job. I also really like the Fili Milli brush that I usually use. That one is also really great. But this one has a little bit more of a flat top, so it can be a little bit easier to use this one to blend out concealers. I really enjoyed the summertime this year. It was pretty hot. I just wish that the winter time wasn't as dark. Like, it's the only issue that I have with winter. It's not the coldness. Like, I love those fresh, cold mornings and the clear blue sky. Those aren't very frequent, but when they come, they just make me feel so good. I love them. I just can't with the darkness thing. It's just too much. If during the winter it would be like light outside already at 6 and dark at like 8, I would be so happy. But unfortunately it's not. It's kind of like, it's just light from 9 a.m. to like 4:30 in the afternoon, and it really messes me up. I am always very excited for the fall time because I just love the colors, the vibes. I don't want to say the aesthetic, kind of, I guess, but it just never lasts long. I feel like the leaves fall so fast. I'm very blessed that the nature here in our area really gets the fall vibes. It's beautiful, but it's always just very fast, which is why I love to indulge in the entire moodiness of the fall. And I guess just enjoy and romanticize life a little bit. Makes life just a little bit sweeter, I think. So I powdered my face, and I actually used a new powder that I got nearly for free because I had like a coupon, and I really like it. It's the Catrice Bright and Blur Setting Powder. I have the shade 030 Soft Peach. They also have a light pink, but since I have a lot of blue under my eye, I felt like a light peach color like this would be way better than a light pink. I feel like it cancels out the blue more effectively, and I like the packaging as well. You have this type of sifter, and the actual lid has this little extra area that stops the powder from coming out, so I really like how you can control this. Never leaks or anything. So this was the powder for today, and I really like how it feels, how it makes my skin look. Not drying, not overly cakey. I also have to say, I don't bake, I don't do loads of layers. I just use my little brush and I'm happy. But yeah, I am really satisfied with this new powder. Let's move on to the blush. This is a color that I just automatically want to gravitate towards. It's very light, it's soft, it's calm, and it is the Romance Better Than Cheek in the shade Nutty Nude. As you can see, this almost looks like a face powder, and if you are any darker than I am, I feel like this could be a dud for you because it will probably be difficult for it to show up. And another thing is that I feel like you can't use just a regular like fluffy big blush brush. I believe you have to use something like this that you can really pack on. If not, I feel like you're just dusting it on and it's just not gonna show. And I'm going to place it kind of like over the nose bridge, like a more sunburned effect, not as much towards the back. We have bronzer there, so we don't really need a lot of color at the back anymore, but like adding it here and, you know, just a little bit more of a late summer, early fall type of effect by just going like this. These Romance blushes are very blurring, and if you have big pores, you want to cover those. I feel like this blush formula is beautiful. I feel like most other blushes, like the colors, they cater more towards light skin tones. They could definitely expand their shade range, because I also feel like they're either extremely cool toned, like borderline lilac, or they are just really warm. So I feel like they could add a few more and not just go for the typical pink and typical lavender shade. I feel like something more rosy could really add to their shade range. So I don't know how much this is visible on camera. I'm pretty sure you can see it, but it's just a very light beige color. Doesn't it look just lighter in the pan than it actually does on the cheeks? Maybe I'm just envisioning things, but I feel like you can actually see it on my face, like it shows up. But I've seen people with deeper skin tones say that this is just too nude, that this is literally face powder. And that's the thing, when we buy cosmetics, we really have to just think, is this going to match me? There are just certain shades and colors that are just going to either disappear on our skin, look way too intense and patchy. That's like my biggest problem. I usually go for blushes that are just too dark and too pigmented for me. And then I wonder why my face looks so patchy and like I have extreme blush blindness. So this blush I feel like is impossible to overdo, and I believe that if you wanted a similar effect to this but you have a deeper skin tone than I have, Pear Chip, I'll put the color up here. This is Nutty Nude, this is Pear Chip. You can definitely see that this is kind of like a darker version, so you may want to try this one out instead. I feel like Pear Chip on me would have been way too warm, and I feel like Nutty Nude is just the right amount of beige and warmth without looking weird on my skin tone and undertone especially. Now we can add a little bit of glow, but only at the top of the cheekbone, and leave the center part obviously matte so that the pores aren't emphasized. So I'm using Miss Mercury from Beauty. This color is obviously going to match perfectly because it is a nice champagne color. Now let's apply some eyeshadow. So for today I'm going to use the Espoir Real Eye Palette, all new in the shade Ivory Beige, which I believe is no longer available. I'm using it because I'm an ordinary consumer. I have to use what I have in my collection. So you can just get inspired and use beige brownie shades. Like this is nothing special color story wise. I do really like the glitter in here, and I do love the color story, but what I'm meaning is that you can definitely find this somewhere else. And if you're looking for a similar palette to this, Espoir came out with a bunch of new eyeshadow palettes, which is why I believe some of them in this old packaging are no longer available. They have many different color stories, and I feel like Honey Oat Latte, I think that's what it's called, could be something similar. And I will be starting by mixing these light to beige shades at the top and apply it on my entire eyelid so that we have a smooth canvas. Right on top, I want to do, I feel like, a mixture of the salmon color and this lighter peach shade. So I take mainly the peach color and a little like drop of the salmon shade so it doesn't look too warm, and focus that on the middle of my eye and towards the outside. For the inner corner and also like the inner part of the eye, I'm using the shimmer shade from the bottom, mostly into the inner corner and a little bit onto the lid. Now I want to go and add a little bit of glitter, so I'm going to use this beautiful golden glitter. It's one of my favorites. It's so stunning. And I'm applying it into the center. We'll be going back to the palette, but for now I'm going to do some eyeliner work. So I'm going to use a light champagne eyeliner just right along the lash line. Gives a little bit of a shine and glow, but I feel like it just lasts a little bit better than the eyeshadow. And I didn't even tell you what this was. It is from Catrice. It is the 20-Hour Ultra Precision Gel Eye Pencil, and this is in the shade 100 Light Up. And it's a micro pencil, so it's like 2 millimeters wide. It's very tiny and it's perfect for detail work. And I'm going to use the same pencil in a different shade for my upper lash line. So this is in the shade 030 Brownie. You have to be careful not to put too much pressure on it. These pencils do tend to break. I'm using my detailed brush, going into that deepest color and just going right over top. I'm going to clip my lashes with the Sky High Mascara from Maybelline. Eyebrow wise, obviously the same as usual. Now I know that my brows look like they have some gaps here in the front. I don't mind that. I actually feel like it makes everything look a little bit more natural. When I look back at pictures of myself a few years ago where I did like fill in my entire brow, even though I try to make it as natural as possible, I feel like if a brow is like filled in everywhere, I feel like it just looks harsher. With me being very fair, dark hair, dark brows, I feel like it just looked not harmonious at all. I feel like it looked way too heavy on my face, and I prefer this fluffy brow on me 100 times over. I feel like it looks way better. Definitely I feel like is one of the things that has changed how my makeup looks the most throughout the years. Like, it's not the way I do my eyeshadow. I feel like the brows are definitely what made my makeup just look way better. And to finish up for the lips, I'm going to use 2 lip liners I think today. I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm using Nude Truffle from NYX for my Cupid's bow area, as well as the bottom here. And I'm blending that color in with Line Leader, which is a little bit more of a pinky color, because I feel like if I use Nude Truffle all over that intensely, it would just look too crazy. And for the actual color, I want to use the Romand Glasting Color Gloss in the shade Nutty Nude, which is this beautiful nudish beige color. It just absolutely goes with one another. And with that, you guys, we've finished today's makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, that you give it a try to feel the early fall spirit. This season just always makes me gravitate towards these calm beige tones, and they always look pretty and they just suit everything you wear. So it's just always a safe choice when you don't know what to do, you don't know which color, or you're sick of color. Sometimes I even get sick of pink cheeks, and something more muted like this just kind of gives you a little bit of a detox. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up, and I would really appreciate it if you stick around. So until then, please take good care of yourself. Bye.